Hey, what's going on everyone? Chris here, and on today's update, thought I'd do something different and show you guys some of my latest pickups. And I haven't done a pickup video like this, geez man, at least 2 years if I'm not mistaken on my YouTube channel, if not longer. But anyway, got a bunch of stuff from the Criterion sale over at that Barnes & Noble, 50% off, plus some 4K pickups and a bunch of other random stuff as well. So first pickup is a Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. Really solid performances by both of them. And the story in itself is rather interesting and a solid addition to get from Criterion. And the picture quality on this release, I thought it was okay. A lot of people were giving it a 5 out of a 5 rating. For me, it's more of a 4.5 out of a 5. But yeah, I really like the story on this, and the woman who plays a social worker that comes to check Adam Driver and his son to see how they're doing on a daily basis type of thing. Yeah, it really ticked me off. Her demeanor, zero personality. But that's just the realities of life. I'm sure that's how most social workers are. But yeah, I hated her character, man. But that just goes to show what a great performance by everybody involved in the film. Next up is the Bruce Lee box set, his greatest hits. Actually did a tribute video, unboxing video of this where I show clips in between on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Yeah, I just didn't want to do a review for this because there's other great reviews already on YouTube, and really, who cares what I have to say? It's Bruce Lee. People are going to pick up this set no matter what people say. So, but you got The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, and Game of Death. Yeah, I love this release, man. Next up is The War of the Worlds. And again, this release was sold out everywhere. Luckily, my local Barnes & Noble had a couple copies, so I snagged one. Really nice looking picture quality from what I've been hearing, and nice supplements as well to complement the film. Also got Leave Her to Heaven, starring the beautiful Tierney. And yeah, this was of course part of the Barnes & Noble sale. And I got a couple releases that were prior to the sale, so I was still able to get it for $20-something for each one, so it wasn't bad. Also got The Lady Eve, starring the lovely Barbara Stanwyck and Henry Fonda. And it's directed and written by Preston Sturges. Yeah, this is one that I've always wanted. I actually had a DVD copy of this one, but I misplaced it. So thankfully, Criterion released a solid edition. Really nice looking presentation as well. Next up is Taste of Cherry, which is a film from Iran. Really a solid looking release on Blu-ray. But I didn't really care for the ending, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's about this guy. He's trying to commit suicide, so he talks to random strangers along the way, to help him execute his plan. But yeah, it just drags on. But yeah, the ending, I didn't like the ending at all. It was just one of those strange ways to end the film. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you what happens. Of course, check it out if you haven't seen it. But the film in itself, I know a lot of people love that movie, but for me, it's just an okay watch. Next pickup is Local Hero, a film in which I love the cinematography, but I didn't care much for the story. Just nothing really happened. It's just, of course, it's a conversation piece, but there's some hidden messages here and there, but let's get real. There was really nothing special about those messages, I know there's a lot of people that love this film, but it's one of those love it or hate it type of movies. I didn't hate it, of course, but I didn't love it. I'll just leave it at that. And I didn't really care much for the main lead, Peter Rygard, I guess his name is. He's the guy who played the detective in the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. So he plays a similar role. Of course, he doesn't play a detective in this film, but similar personality. He's always like cranky, on edge. And, for a film that you're trying to watch and connect with the lead one way or another, you got to have a bit of a personality. And he just doesn't have that on-screen presence of a guy who can take command of a picture as far as being the lead character. But also, of course, Burt Lancaster is in this film. He has I wouldn't say a major part, but he's in the film in between here and there throughout the film. But yeah, solid performance by Burt. But like I said, the story-wise, it's okay, nothing great. And speaking of Burt Lancaster, also picked up Ernest Hemingway's The Killers. And you get two films, of course, the original one with Burt Lancaster and also the 1964 version. So yeah, really nice edition, and really love the first film. I haven't seen the remake though, but I'll check it out. Also got Being John Malkovich, directed by Spike Jonze. Absolutely love this film. It's a bizarre movie, but a really entertaining film nonetheless. And it's just one of those, like I said, really strange movies, but it's just really well directed, well acted, superb cast. And yeah, you can't go wrong with it. Of course, Cameron Diaz is in the film, and so many other familiar faces. John Cusack, Catherine Keener, also Mary Kay Place, and of course, John Malkovich. But yeah, this is one that I've always wanted, but I held off because I've seen it so many times. But I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'll get it this time around for, $20. You can't go wrong. All right, moving along to Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. Actually, this release, I think I got it prior to the Criterion sale that happened. But I still got it for 20-something dollars, so it's not a bad deal at all. But really love this film. Absolutely. And Wes Anderson, one of the most unique directors out there. All right, moving along to All About Eve, starring Bette Davis and Baxter, George Sanders. Also, of course, Marilyn Monroe's in the film. She plays a small part. She's not the main lead, of course. But really solid edition to get. And that's what I love about Criterion releases. You get restored picture quality, but I believe they're using the same print from the previous Blu-ray release, which was put out by 20th Century Fox. And also wanted to add a couple more Charlie Chaplin films to my collection. So I got Monsieur Verdo. Sorry if I'm butchering the name, but it's one of those type of titles. What can I say? But Chaplin plays several characters. I haven't seen this film, surprisingly, but I've heard wonderful things about it. And yeah, can't wait to check it out. And it looks like you get a great amount of features. Pretty cool. And I also got Limelight as well, starring Chaplin. And I saw this the other night and I absolutely loved it. The second time I saw it, the first time was when I was a kid. So it's been such a long time. I can't even remember, at least in the 90s, early 90s. But wonderfully directed. And of course, it's a talkie along with Monsieur Verdo. And, Chaplin is known for silent films, but it just goes to show he's just equally wonderful as an actor, both as a talkie and a silent film star. And he was one of those unique actors and directors, writers, because he liked having total control from the music to the editing, like I said, the writing, the directing, and of course the acting. And you don't see that nowadays. It's really rare. But what can I say? Chaplin was a unique man, that's for sure. And I thought I'd add another Wes Anderson film to my collection, The Life Aquatic, starring Bill Murray. A film that I've seen so many times over, so technically I wasn't in a rush to pick this up, but I'm like, what the hell? I missed the film, haven't seen it in several years, so I'll get it this time. But yeah, absolutely love that film, man. So bizarre, so fun. Jeff Goldblum's in the film, and Jeff Goldblum, Wes Anderson, they're just a perfect combination. Next up is The Great Escape, starring Steve McQueen, James Garner, Richard Attenborough. And again, I got this prior to the Criterion sale, but I picked it up again for 20-something dollars, so can't go wrong for that price. All right, so that's it as far as Criterion pickups for now. Moving along to my 4K pickups, so I got Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas, of course, one of my favorites, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Really beautiful transfer on 4K. Also got The Mask of Zorro, starring Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, and the beautiful Catherine Zeta-Jones. And this is the film that Michael Douglas watched and fell in love with, Zeta-Jones, in which they started dating, and then he ended up marrying her. But I'm hoping it will get The Legend of Zorro as well on 4K down the line. But beautiful transfer on 4K. And next up is Disney Pixar's Onward, a film that unfortunately suffered during the pandemic situation. And this was only in theaters for about a week or 10 days, if I'm not mistaken. Then, things got shut down. Ended up getting streamed on Vudu, iTunes, and now it's on Disney+. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really wonderful, funny film, emotional. And, support the filmmakers that made this film possible, the blood, sweat, and tears that they put themselves into to make it a reality. And finally picked up Goodfellas on 4K. And I had the Blu-ray release of this, so, I wasn't in a rush. But I think it was about $14.99 on Amazon. So I'm like, it's finally time to pick it up. And the transfer is actually really good. Some people were complaining about it, but I think their setup isn't properly calibrated. But if it is, once you calibrate your system properly, you are treated to a nice looking, rich, Black Lowe's release on 4K. But absolute classic, man. Martin Scorsese. Also got The Blues Brothers. Actually picked this up within the first week when it was released, but now it was going for about $10 on Amazon, man. Blues Brothers in 4K, $10. can't beat it, man. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. A lovely looking transfer, man. I absolutely loved it. And then the film in itself, total classic. Such a fun film. Also got The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro from Shout Factory. Again, another really nice looking transfer. And John Savage, Meryl Streep, Christopher Walken. Also got Hobbs and Shaw. I actually had the Blu-ray release of this film, which I did a review on my channel, but for $10 picked up the 4K release. So it's a fun movie, you know, it's a nice spin-off. Mindless action. Also got Black Hawk Down in 4K. Hadn't seen this one in such a long time, so it was a nice revisit and amazing transfer in 4K, of course, starring Josh Hartnett, also Tom Sizemore. And yeah, I had an interesting situation happen with Tom Sizemore back in 2005 when he was filming this B movie called Ring Around the Rosie. And my friend was on set, so I was there as well. And Tom Sizemore's walking around inside the trailer, outside the trailer in his boxers, and we were just hanging out, man. He called me into his trailer along with my friend, and he started talking about his life story. And this is when Sizemore was on crack, and it was a huge situation on the news. And he was having that problem with Heidi Fleiss at the time, too. But anyway, he was telling me about his life story, and I'm like, here's the dude from Saving Private Ryan, you know, Black Hawk Down, and all these other amazing films that the guy has been in. And he's in front of me in his boxers telling me his life story. But a nice guy. He's one of those guys, he's always on edge, but if you get on his good side, he'll become your best friend instantly, you know? So we had some lunch together on set, and it was an interesting experience, and watching him act in front of you, you know, in this psychological thriller movie. It was like a horror movie, but it didn't do too well. I mean, it is a B movie, but, you know, check it out if you're interested. It's called Ring Around the Rosie. So that's it as far as some of my latest 4K pickups. So now moving along to some of my random pickups, starting with Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, the re-release edition. So yeah, if you missed your chance on the original release, now's your chance to get this one. But unfortunately, you don't get any special features with this release except for the trailer. But technically, a trailer is not a special feature. But the original release had the commentary track, you know, with Mel Gibson, plus a bunch of supplements. So if you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, definitely get this one. And next up for my collection is Roman Polanski's The Tenant. And I saw this a couple nights ago for the first time. Such a bizarre film, man. But I enjoyed it. It's one of those psychological thriller / horror type of movies. It's more of a thriller than a horror. Such a weird film. But really well directed by Polanski. And the whole film takes place in practically in this apartment in France, in Paris. Also got Resistance, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Ed Harris. Love Ed Harris. And I'm a sucker for World War II movies, so can't wait to watch this one. And I had mixed reviews, but I had a bunch of, you know, excellent reviews as well. So, you know, everybody has different tastes. You know, just because somebody else doesn't like it doesn't mean you will like it. So you have to watch it for yourself to decide if it's good or not. Also got Force of Nature with Mel Gibson. This had mixed reviews, more bad reviews than good, but you know, I'm a huge fan of Mel Gibson. I know he had issues going on in his personal life, but I'm judging him as an actor. I'm not judging him for who he is, you know, in his daily life. That's his business. But anyway, looking forward to that one, see what it's all about. Also got Big Trouble in Little China. This was on sale for about $15 on Amazon, so I snagged it. I had the original release of this. I think it was put out by 20th Century Fox, if I'm not mistaken. But $15 can't beat it. And I was surprised I actually had the slipcover, so I'm really happy about that. It's actually the same transfer as the original Blu-ray release. Also got Candyman. So yeah, this was on sale for about $10 on Amazon. So I thought I'd add that to the collection. Also, Kiss the Blood Off My Hands with Joan Fontaine, Burt Lancaster. And I'm a huge fan of film noir, if you don't already know. But yeah, I'm a sucker for these classics. And this was released in 1948, put out by Kino Lorber. All right, moving along to A Simple Twist of Fate. I saw this when I was a kid, so I'm looking forward to revisiting this one. And this is one of those forgotten films from Steve Martin, but I'm a huge fan of his, from Father of the Bride to Sergeant Bilko, and of course The Jerk. Also got the Australian release of Coneheads with Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin. And yeah, this is a fun movie, man. Obviously a movie that's not for everybody, but always had a blast. And you know, you can't go wrong with Dan Aykroyd. I mean, Ghostbusters, man. Also, There's Something About Mary, a film that I hadn't seen in, man, at least 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. And this was really hilarious, man. It's still hilarious to this day with, of course, the beautiful Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller is in it. Matt Dillon's in the movie. And it's directed by the Farrelly brothers, who, of course, directed Dumb and Dumber, the Three Stooges movie, and so many other films. Kingpin, which, in my opinion, is a underrated comedy, man. I absolutely love Kingpin with Woody Harrelson. And next up is Office Space from creator and writer Mike Judge, of course, who also made Beavis and Butthead. And I absolutely love this film. I actually have the original release of this on Blu-ray, but I love the look of the artwork on this one, so I'm like, I'll pick it up. It was only like $5 or $6, and plus it has the digital copy, which I added to my Voodoo collection, which the original release did not have. But it's I wouldn't consider this one laugh out loud funny, but it does have some funny moments, and it just showcases what life is like working inside an office, cubicle with office trolls and stupid bosses surrounding you. But a fun movie, man, nonetheless. It's a cult classic to me. All right, so I'm down to my last couple pickups as far as this update goes. So I got RoboCop 2, which is the Shout Factory release. So I finally got this one. And I actually own this one as part of the triple collection that I believe 20th Century Fox released back in 2014. But I wanted this one because of the new scan in 2K plus the supplements as well. And I remember seeing this in theaters back in 1990. And sure, it's not as great as the original, but it's a fun popcorn action flick nonetheless. And of course, it's directed by Irwin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back, and the return of Peter Weller and Nancy Allen. And they actually had, both of them had issues working with Kershner on set, more so Nancy Allen, but that's pretty much how it is, When you're making art or reality, you're going to hit bumps along the way, but fun movie, man, nonetheless. But unfortunately, since I got it late, I don't get a slip, but surprisingly, RoboCop 3 came with a slip. But yeah, unfortunately, Peter Weller did not return for this one. And I remember seeing this at the drive-in, the Van Nuys drive-in back in 1993. It was actually the last film I saw at the drive-in. And it was funny because the car in front of me, the trunk popped open and a couple guys jumped out and went into the back seat. Back then people would sneak in that way. So I thought it was funny, man. I never saw two people come out. I usually would see one person, come out of the trunk, but it was funny to see two people. And yeah, of course, the Van Nuys drive-in was featured in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin Tarantino. They CGI'd the drive-in. But yeah, I saw a bunch of films at that drive-in when I was a kid. I saw I think it was a Lock Up. Also, what else did I see? That Warrant with Van Damme and so many other films. So yeah, man, I miss the days of driving. And I know with the pandemic going on, the drive-in is kind of a thing now again. So that's pretty cool to see. But anyway, that's my latest pickup, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I rambled a bit here and there, but it is what it is. I like to chime in every now and then on certain films that I admire. All right, so I'll see you guys in my next update. Thanks for watching. Take care.